Good afternoon. This is Molly Elshaer and Manpreet Kaur on behalf of Brentwood Votes, and we are here to interview Susannah Meyer, candidate for City of Brentwood City Council for District 3. Welcome, Susannah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for asking me to be here.
In 3 to 4 sentences, could you please tell us why you chose to run for this office?
The year 2020 has had a lot of impact on a lot of people. A lot more challenging to some than others, but for me, it's been a time to do a lot of self-evaluation. This is the way I would like to make a difference in my community.
So, how do you plan on turning Brentwood into a self-sustaining city? And in doing so, how would you go about building new jobs without driving out existing sectors in town?
I think one of the key things for Brentwood, of course, is its agricultural legacy. And we are at a place where agritourism is becoming more and more popular. And we're kind of in a perfect place to be able to take advantage of that as an industry. I like the idea of guiding our farmers into potentially having bed and breakfasts or cafes on site, special events on their land, that kind of thing, and allowing for that. That's in Brentwood outskirts, but the more we can do to improve the tourism for our farmers, the more we can bring people into town and have them spend money elsewhere, restaurants and shops, etc. That's one thing. I don't know if you want extended answers on this, or is that just 3 or 4 sentences per?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. With Brentwood having experienced such high population booms and continue growing, how would you address rising costs of living and supporting livable wages here?
So we definitely need to bring in some quality jobs in town, and the Brentwood Innovation Center at Brentwood is really key in doing that for our future development of these good jobs. We've got, I think it's 80% of people traveling 45 minutes or more for their commute in town, and those are approximate numbers, but it makes it very challenging for people to be able to live in town, and if they have to drive that far away to have a wage that they can afford to live in town. My 2 sons are young adults, and I would love for them to be able to have affordable housing in town too. So I think we need to really require more from our developers as we allow developers to come in and to build these housing projects, to make sure that their percentage of affordable housing aligns with the state and aligns with our general plan and allows for some of our young families to stay here in town.
And lastly, so one of your priorities you named to us was advocating for those residents whose voices are not always heard, seniors and others who need local access to stronger resources and more accessible support systems. So with that being said, how would you go about supporting and empowering low-income, underserved, and homeless populations in Brentwood?
One of the key things that we need to do as a city is recognize that we've got some issues with that. And I think not just homeless, but our senior services are stretched beyond capacity. A lot of our families at this point are struggling to get food on the table, especially given COVID. So in large part, it is acknowledging that we have an issue and then starting to look at how address that. We do have some local leaders, Supervisor Diane Burgess is one of them, who is working on gathering a kind of a collaborative team of nonprofits together. There are a lot of other nonprofits and foundations that are looking at East County, because social services here, there was a study done several years ago, social services in East County versus West County, every $8 spent in West Contra Costa is only $1 in East. So clearly this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and the time is now, especially with COVID hitting everyone as hard as it has, and even putting more people in that danger of losing their incomes and losing their homes and livelihoods. It's time is now, but I think collaboration and talking to the people that are actually doing the work, the nonprofits, and bringing everybody together at the table, and then talking to people that are in that situation and asking what it is. Don't assume, we can't assume we know what you want. We need to talk to you, bring you to the table, and find out what the social services are needed in the world that you're living in right now, especially impacted by COVID.
And that concludes our short interview. Thank you, Mrs. Meyer, for participating in this event and for sharing your views. We wish you the best of luck in this election, and thank you everyone who watched this wonderful interview. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, you too. Thanks again for inviting me.